Good afternoon, this is Dominic with TheBackVlog. Last week I finished The Moon Over Mountain, short stories by Atsushi Nakajima. And this is another author that I've heard of because he was represented in Bungo Stray Dogs, which is my wife's favorite anime. Going into this, I didn't realize that pretty much all of these short stories, the setting is in ancient China rather than a more modern Japanese, which is kind of what I was anticipating. Pretty much what these things are a bunch of parables about, finding purpose and a sense of self. And reading this, the introduction, there's like a whole afterword and everything. I never even really thought about it while reading this, but Atsushi was kind of one of the progenitors of existentialist philosophy. The book describes him as a proto-existentialist, and I know he definitely predates Sartre because he was around the time post-war era. I don't know about Camus though. I was under the impression he was like 1910s or 1920s, but I haven't read anything by him, so I could be totally wrong about that. But if he is also post-war, that would mean that the kind of themes that are being tackled here, the existentialist themes, were kind of pioneered by Atsushi, which is kind of incredible. Two of my favorites in here, among most of them, a lot of these were really, really good. But two of my favorites, I really liked The Moon Over the Mountain and The Master, both of which kind of dealt with artist hubris and the pursuit in trying to better your craft at the expense of your life and the people around you, and the people you love. At least the first one is. The second one is just like becoming so, I guess, overconfident or practicing your craft so much that you become bored of it, that you don't do it anymore because you've peaked. And I don't know, I think just as I don't want to call myself an artist because I don't do as much art as I should, but as a person with artistic tendencies at the very least, a lot of that stuff really kind of hit home to me, and I definitely related to it a lot. You have the fantastical, what's it called? The something Wu Jing, the rebirth of Wu Jing, where he basically goes on this odyssey to find, why he exists. And, he's meeting all of these characters, all of these very fantastical characters, who all have their different reasons for living. And I think that's really interesting. I think the world that he creates in that short story is very interesting. There are other stories in here where they're historical accounts of real people, but they're fictionalized in these stories. And I don't know ancient Chinese history enough to know how closely the events of the stories relate to the real life events. But if they are just kind of retellings of history, I think it kind of goes to show how interesting history can be. Not just ancient Chinese history, because even though ancient Chinese history is really interesting, but just history in general. There are some great stories in here that are based off of historical events. You have Li Ling, and you have, I guess it was The Disciple, both of which were really incredible. The Disciple is about a follower of Confucius and his inner conflict with, his hard-headedness and his stubbornness, but also trying to kind of simmer himself down to follow Confucius since he admires him so much. And then you have the story of Li Ling, which takes place over the course of 20 years, and the militaristic prowess and the toll that time takes on people, and a lot of the colorful historical figures in it. It just really paints this really intriguing lifelong story. I'm not putting it the best way, but I just found it really interesting. There's a lot of good in this book. I was not expecting, again, like the ancient Chinese backdrop of the whole thing. But I also wasn't expecting like really deep philosophy either. And I found that really interesting. These short stories are really, really good. I believe this is the first published collection, or I guess maybe the first English translated collection of his stories. I think there are others out there. This is definitely not the whole breadth of his catalog, and I'm definitely interested to see if there are more, because I really like this. And just like Osamu Dazai, he died very young, before his time. Obviously, they were two completely separate types of people, but their over has both been tragically shortened just because of their fates, unfortunately. But yeah, that's about it for The Moon Over the Mountain. It was wonderful. It was really good, really engaging, really educational actually too. But yeah, that's it for me. I hope you have a wonderful day and take care of yourself.